Donald Trump seems to be completely losing his mind because the American president has invited the Russian dictator Vladimir Putin to join the Peace Council. And this isn't even funny anymore. Donald Trump decided to create a peace council under his leadership to manage the Gaza Strip after the war between Israel and Hamas is over. And now, the White House has stated that the Peace Council will eventually become a sort of replacement for the United Nations. Trump is offering privileged membership in the Peace Council, which will also address issues such as the war between Russia and Ukraine. Membership in Trump's Peace Council will cost $1 billion, and here the charter of the Peace Council states, quote, "The Peace Council is an international organization designed to promote stability, restore reliable lawful governance, and ensure lasting peace in areas affected by conflict or at risk of such." And while Trump is virtually hugging Putin, he also attacked Europe with new tariffs and demands to give him Greenland, otherwise he would start a war. Now, the Russians are fueling the scandal. In the State Duma of the Russian Federation, they claim that supposedly Trump, after capturing Greenland, plans to capture France, Germany, and Britain. Now, Donald Trump is inviting Vladimir Putin, a representative of this nation, to the Council of Peace, which is meant to ensure global stability and peace. My name is Alexei Pechi. Let's discuss this topic, but first please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below, and join my Telegram channel Pechi News. The link is in this video's description. And if by the end of the episode you find it interesting and useful, you can support the work of this YouTube channel with your donation or subscription using the links and details in the description. I would appreciate it. So, in the episode on this YouTube channel where I talked about what the Donald Trump Peace Council is, I mentioned that yes, I wouldn't be surprised if Trump invites Vladimir Putin there. And today, there's news that the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, has received an invitation to the Peace Council being created by the United States. This was stated by the press secretary of the Russian leader, Dmitry Peskov. According to him, the invitation was delivered through diplomatic channels. Here is the quote. "At the moment, we are studying all the details of this proposal and hope for contacts with the American side to clarify all the nuances. Let me explain what's happening. United States President Donald Trump has decided to create a peace council under his leadership to manage the Gaza sector. This council should include American officials, leaders of regional Middle Eastern countries, businessmen, and investors." The Peace Council head. Donald Trump and this council will take full external control of Gaza until a new government is formed. But Trump decided to expand this Peace Council into an alternative to the United Nations so that such a council would resolve all global conflicts. The Peace Council is presented as an international organization designed to promote stability, restore reliable legitimate governance, and ensure lasting peace in areas affected by conflicts or threatened by them. This is in the Council's charter. According to the draft charter of the new Peace Council, countries wishing to obtain permanent member status in this council are required to contribute at least $1 billion to a special fund in the very first year. Trump argues that the United States is no longer willing to pay for global security alone, and accordingly, checkbook diplomacy has replaced the diplomacy of values. Trump is essentially saying if you want to run the planet with the United States, pay up, but Americans still get the final say. And if you don't have money, well then you're nobody and no one will listen to you, like it might have happened at the United Nations. That won't happen anymore. By the way, for those who refuse to pay for membership in this council, the membership term will be no more than 3 years from the moment the charter comes into force. And then, they're out. A White House representative noted that the collected funds will be personally controlled by Donald Trump and will be directly allocated to fulfilling the organization's mandate. This Peace Council will be required to hold meetings to vote on various decisions at least once a year. According to the agenda, Donald Trump will also have the right to appoint a successor and remove members of the organization. However, in the latter case, the decision can be blocked by 2/3 of its members. In all other matters, Trump will have the final say and will again choose his own successor. What is the Council of Peace and its purpose? Well, initially, let me repeat, the Trump administration stated that this would be a body for restoring gas after the war, but as it turned out, the ambitions are much broader. Trump plans to give this body the authority to resolve almost all conflicts in the world. In fact, essentially an alternative to the United Nations is being created, where decisions are made not by the General Assembly but by a so-called board of directors led by Trump. This is important because while in the United Nations decisions are made by a vote of all its members and the General Assembly, which meets once a year, in Trump's New World Council, decisions are made by those who have paid for such a privilege. If you have money, you make decisions. Without it, you're nobody. It's not that simple. Trump has already sent out personalized invitations to this World Council, and it was known the day before that the invitation had already been received by the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, the President of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and the President of Egypt, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. These are the ones handling the Gaza sector. Argentine leader Javier Milei even shared a letter from Trump with this invitation. And now it turns out that Trump also invited the bloody, balding dictator Putin to this same Council of Peace. I just don't know how Trump wraps his head around that. Look, the two words peace and Putin, they can't even stand next to each other. How can you invite this bloodsucker, this little tyrant who starts wars, to a Council of Peace? That's all he does. So basically, Trump is privatizing global diplomacy. If before international law was based on treaties, now it's based on investments in the Board of Peace. He calls it the Council of Peace. This is a shift towards transactional politics. If you want your interests to be considered, pay up. If you don't have money, your interests are completely ignored. And here it's just surreal. On one hand, Trump invites Putin to the Council of Peace, and on the other hand, he threatens Europe with war over Greenland. And the day before, Trump completely shocked everyone. Bloomberg writes that, quote, United States President Donald Trump explained his claims to Greenland by saying that he was not awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. This is stated in a letter he sent to Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre. Here is a quote from the letter. Considering that your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for stopping 8 wars and even more, now I don't feel obliged to think exclusively about peace. This prompted me to focus on what is good and right only for. And now, in the State Duma of the Russian Federation, they have started stirring up this topic to try, to pit the United States and Europe against each other. There is a certain deputy in Russia and the deputy chairman of the State Duma Defense Committee, Alexei Zhuravlyov. Zhuravlyov claimed that if Trump gains control of Greenland, he would target other European countries' territories. Zhuravlyov's own words. First, the Euro-Troika should prepare themselves. I'm sure that after taking Greenland, Trump won't stop at the United Kingdom, France or Germany and will try to get some documents for their territories. And Americans have visited these countries many times. Well, the hint is that Trump might say does France really belong to the French? Prove it, show me the document. Well, that's just complete nonsense. But yes, with such arguments in the State Duma of the Russian Federation, wild Russians are trying to provoke some kind of conflict. And against this background, Trump invites Putin to the Council of Peace. I just have no words, I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments under this episode, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like if you want to support the work of this YouTube channel. I would really appreciate it. You can do this by donating through any of the links and details in the description of this video. That's all for now. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye, everyone.